tutorial on Come Together by the Beatles. This is hopefully something very similar to what Paul McCartney actually played, but this is my version of it. If it's slightly different, that's your choice. You can decide how you want to play it. I learned it a very different way. This is the way I've listened to it recently, and I think it sounds more like the actual record. First things first, make sure your tone is very, very bassy on this. So I've got my tone, I've got an active system on this particular bass. I've got the middle rolled right off and the treble rolled right off, and I'm actually on this pickup. And I've got the blend all the way over into this pickup, so I'm on the neck pickup, I'm not on the bridge pickup at all. So you get that nice dark sound. That's what you're aiming for. So, I believe this is split into 3 major sections, and the first section is the main riff, which goes like this. The first section uses most of the D blues scale. It mainly uses this part of the scale. So let's just remind ourselves of what the blues scale actually is. This is the blues pentatonic scale we're talking about. So this is the blues in D. We have got the first note, which is D, which is the 10th fret of the E string. Then we've got the 13th fret, which is an F. Then we've got the 10th fret of the A string, which is a G, 12th fret A, 10th fret of the D string, which is a C, 12th fret, which is a D, and finally the G string 10th fret, which is an F, and the 12th fret, which is a G. So it would be a good idea to get used to playing the scale and have a bit of a mess with it. To get used to what the scale feels like under your fingers. Now the first section, it starts, instead of the D here, it starts on the 5th fret of the A string here. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide all the way up to the 10th fret, from the 5th fret to the 10th fret with our first finger. It's worth practicing doing that slide. My advice normally is to look at where you're going to, not where you've been. That's a fairly quick slide. So you'll hit 2 Ds, slide, and then what I like to do is hammer on the 12th fret, like this. Not like that, like this. So that's 5, slide to 10, hammer on 12. And then, to finish the riff, all the way across to the G string, 10th fret, and then come back to the D string, 12th fret. So slow motion, D, D, G, A, F, D. Sorry, 5, 5, 10, hammer on 12, 10, 12. Whichever way works for you. The letters work for me, D, D, G, A, F, D. And what we're going to do to give it a bit of style is when we played that last note, we're going to fall down. So you've got that nice little slide in there. So that's the first section. Now the second section is exactly the same, except instead of being on the A string and the D string and the G string, you're actually going on the E string, the A string and the D string. It's the same riff though. So 5th fret, slide to 10, hammer on 12, 10th fret, and then back to the 12th fret on the A string this time. So E string, D string, and then back to the A string. Now what you can do is to colour it a bit. When you get to the 10th fret on the D string, you can bend it slightly. So you get this effect. And to finish the second section off, we go to a 3rd fret G and hold. So So it goes like this. About a bar, maybe a little bit less. And that's the second section. So if you notice, it's the riff twice. Now the third section is basically the walk down. And then you're back into the first section riff. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Back into the main riff at that point. And that's basically all the sections. Now if you notice when I do this, most people who know me play, I know that I play the double bass as well, and I tend to, on the electric bass, use a double bass style fingering, the 3-finger technique, at the lower notes. That's to save stretching. It doesn't say that I don't use the 4 fingers down here. I just find it easier sometimes. When I don't need to stretch, I don't stretch. I use my first finger, my second finger, and my 4th and 3rd fingers together. So I've got this here. This is a B, by the way, 7th fret on the E string, A, which is the 5th fret, and then the G, which is the 3rd fret, and back to the A. Now, if you notice, I counted it before, so make sure you get the right amount. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, rest, and then back into the riff. That's just a 2-bar pattern. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, and back into the main riff. So they are the main parts of Come Together. We do have the sections where there's instrumental, but basically the bass is just playing repeated notes. So I'll let you decide, and there's lots and lots of twiddly bits later on when it goes, all that sort of stuff, so you can have a play with that yourself. That's one of the reasons I mentioned at the beginning with the blues scale, so you can get your old hang on it. So there we go, that's Come Together by the Beatles. I hope you enjoyed that.